Wellness Nerd Out time! How you guys doing today? Happy tonight. Happy 5:09 p.m. Happy Wellness Nerd Out time, you guys. And today we're going to be talking about the proper form of a squat. We went into the deadlift yesterday. I figured we'll go through two of the major compound movements in 2 days. We've had a few questions on them. So where to start? Well, if you have lifting shoes, that's great. If you don't, personally, I like the bare feet better. Improved balance and stability being a few assets. Having a few of the pros with bare feet, but you do you. Just probably don't squat in running shoes. They're not meant for that in terms of the biomechanical load on your joints and on your body in general, right? So I like to go for bare feet. So where's the bar? Well, the bar is, and I always tuck my sweatshirt in when I do it, so we're already like that. You don't want the bar here, that's for sure. You don't want it on your neck like this, just pushing you forward. You have the high bar squat, which is on your upper trapezius, right, like this, and then we have a low bar squat, which is on our rear delts, more so, right? And you're kind of just holding that bar in there. You don't have to grip it like this. You can just, kind of hold it there, right? So as far as the feet, well, how wide are they going to be? Well, just about a little wider than shoulder width apart is the general consensus. All right, and in terms of angling your feet out, now it is different for everybody in terms of their hip anatomy and their personal preference. I personally like to have my feet angled out a decent bit, and I like to be nice and wide. But for most of you, it's probably going to be comfortable is just outside, shoulder width apart, and the feet slightly angled outward. All right, so if we translate this to our lateral view here, well, what we're going to do is we're going to tighten our core. We're going to puff our chest up, right? And I like nice wide stance like this, as I said. Again, that's preference. And you're keeping the shoulder blades pinned together, all right? And you come down and up, right? So you're doing it right if you're practicing, if you're almost falling back, almost. Now you practice a lot before you're going to go get after it with weight, right? But you could even put yourself against the wall. I think this is a good way to get the form better, especially coming from somebody who's had tight hip flexors, anterior chain throughout my life, playing a lot of sports, with quick movement going forward, right? So I think a good way you can train it is just keep your back on the wall and really lean into it and get that feeling of pushing through your heels. And even more so through just the center of your feet. All right, so what are a few things that we're looking out for when we're squatting that are big no-nos that will get us hurt, right? Well, one, we said having that bar too high on your neck, right? Two, if you are gonna come down, when you come down, I should say, make sure you don't rock those knees forward. Don't rock them forward over your toes, right? Keep them back. Try to keep your shins straighter and keep them in line like this with your heel, not letting them come forward. That is one, all right? Hips back, shins nice and straight is what we want. Two, you don't want your heels coming off. Don't push through your toes. That'll decrease your power. With the knees rocking forward and going on your toes, you're kind of relying more on your anterior chain. We want to, really, really emphasize that power of our posterior chain, right, going down and through our glutes at the bottom, which brings us to the point of getting deep, right? So you don't have to sit on the ground, but you should be getting nice and deep and coming up, right? So generally about 90 degrees or breaking 90 is what we're looking for, okay? Another thing you see a lot is people come in and they squat and their knees buckle. They buckle in, they get those valgus knees. Keep them out. And what I really like about the bare feet too is I can feel the floor so well. I can grip my toes against it and I can pull the floor apart. I can pull it apart like you're trying to stretch it as you come down. All right. So what could be a problem, we should say, with having your knees come in? What's one reason that might happen? Maybe you have weak hip abductors, right? Like the glute med, which we talked about in the past few days with lower cross syndrome. So focus on stretching the floor apart and getting deep, right? Now, another thing I want to say is you don't want to let your back, tuck the sweatshirt in for this, you don't want to let your back roll forward. You don't want to let it curve too much. You want to keep it nice and arched, right? You don't want this. You don't want that, okay? You have it on your back, you come down and, you know, that could be core weakness, it could be many things, but keep the core nice and tight, right? Keep your butt out, your back arched as you come down, and when you're coming down and up, that bar should be going straight up and down. There shouldn't be any anterior to posterior alteration in the movement in terms of the plane that bar is moving in, right? So not serving breakfast. Another one is if you keep your back arched, sometimes you see people fall forward, even with it arched. Make sure you have that weight on your heels, right? And through the center of your feet, not allowing your back to come forward, keeping that core nice and tight, your erector spinae as well. So I think those are some tips that could get you doing it right, get you some results with squats. And when we talk about the difference between having big legs and you know, big glutes or just going for power, type 2, quick twitch, fiber athleticism type stuff, what's the difference? Well, if you come down real slow, in that slow eccentric motion, and you come down and you hold at the bottom, and then you come up nice and slow, and you come down nice and slow. You could take 10 seconds on the way down, hold it for 10 seconds, come up 10 seconds on the way up. That is going to really, you know, build the size. That's promoting hypertrophy, right? Now, especially the slow eccentric on the way down and hold at the bottom are the two most important things there, right? So you can even do that and then come up a little bit quicker. But you're going to do that with real light weight, if that's what you're looking for. And I mean light, you know, less than, you know, if you're an avid lifter, a plate or less on each side, all right? It's not to impress anybody. This is, you know, time under tension type thing, right? Now, if you're going for athleticism and power and type 2 quick twitch, you know, for sports, right, or whatever, then you're going to be doing it faster, all right? But at the same time, it should be noted, you know, not to really bounce too hard at the bottom of the squat. It's a lot of stress in your knees, okay? And that's why it's also important to make sure that your knees aren't coming forward, right? That they're staying back. And when you get that little bit of pre-stretch reflex at the bottom, be careful if you're going with heavy weight and you come down and, you know, I mean, not to say hold it at the bottom, but I mean, you can if you want to, but don't do that if you're going real heavy. You know, I wouldn't recommend that. But, you know, keeping good speed throughout is the difference in essence. Instead of going for those holds and going for that slow eccentric movement to build hypertrophy, right? So that's what we got for you guys today. Who do we got on here? Judith, how you doing? MBK Ham. Thank you guys for hopping on. I hope you've had a great day today. I hope you have an even better night. Go get after some squats. Get that booty nice. And the legs as well, you guys. Have a great night, and we'll see you tomorrow. Happy Wend Wellness. Thank you.